Welcome to Business Connection. Joining me now is Robb Hill from R. Hill Enterprises, Inc. Welcome, Robb.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started in all of this.
Well, I got started in this back in the early 2000s, and some things happened, you know, with the 9/11 and all that, and I ended up back in college, and my guidance counselor, she came screaming at me one day saying, "You gotta meet my cousin, you gotta meet my cousin." I was like, "Well, why do I wanna meet your cousin?" She said, "Because he's got a job for you." I was like, "Well, I really don't want a job, but I'll meet him anyway." Okay, so I met with him, and to my surprise, I took this elevator, I went to the office, I took this elevator up, got to the 5th floor, came out of there, and they took me into this room, and it had this long oak table in there with the high back leather chairs, and I was like, "Oh, yes, I'm with it." Come to find out, he's a partner with New York Life.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I got into the financial arena, okay? Over the years, I have been with different organizations, and the underlying theme with all of them was sales. Mm-hmm. What'd you sell? What'd you sell? You spent an hour and a half with this person, what'd you sell? And that's not what the hour and a half was about with me, because it's an education process that needs to take place, because an informed consumer is the best consumer, okay? And so there's a lot of gray area, mm-hmm. Okay? And so we want to cut through that. I believe in total transparency, okay? So that's why I do things the way that I do things. I deliver all my policies.
Well, and I think that's awesome. So what should a financial professional look like, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, he should be business casual dressed, you know, okay. And cordial, of course. Uh-huh. And he should be willing to listen. See, the communication is not knowing how to talk, it's knowing how to listen. But in order to listen to the right things, you got to ask the right questions. And that's where a lot of people miss the boat.
Well, insurance and end of life and long term, everything that you deal in is a scary process. People don't want to think about that kind of stuff, and we also don't know what questions to ask, let alone get an answer. So we kind of want to do that really quick. We hope that you're going to take care of us.
Well, see, the idea of being scared and fearful of it and all that, that's only because of a lack of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's what I bring to the table. We want to make sure that this is totally transparent. I let all of my clients know that if you have any questions at all, write them down, because a short pencil is better than a long memory. Okay?
That's great.
Okay.
When should somebody start thinking about planning for life insurance and all of that? I think most of us think that's a 50-plus conversation.
Well, this is kind of a loaded question, okay? Because
yes, it is.
Our system is designed to make you think now, right now, microwave, you know, we want everything right now. Well, financial planning takes time, okay? You start out here with your plan, and then you have your goals set, and then there's this thing called life in there, mm-hmm. All right? And so you got to be able to handle what's going on in the valleys so that you can enjoy the view from the peak, okay? So there's going to be peaks and valleys, but you got to be steadfast in what it is that you're going to do, okay? And these financial products, they're great. They are great until you add people, okay?
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing until you add the people, because when the people get at it, the devil's in the details, okay? You want to get with somebody that's going to explain everything line by line all the way down the line, because every financial contract, whether it's life insurance, annuities, or long-term care, whatever, those are contracts. And if it's not in writing, in the words of Chrysler Lee Iacocca, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we need someone that's going to be willing to sit down with you and go through everything about this particular thing, because this is a lifelong relationship, and these are some life-changing decisions. Okay?
That brings me to the question, you mentioned a lot of different financial products there. Mm-hmm. What should a person be thinking about? What should they invest in?
Well, the best investment one can make, in my humble estimation, is in himself first. Mm-hmm. Because the only reason why people are not moving ahead is because they're stuck in the knowledge that they're in. They don't know that they don't know, but they think they know. okay? And so what happens is when you come in with something new, people they don't want to change. So what happens is most people are forced to change. And then they're resistant and all this kind of stuff, when what really needs to happen is there needs to be an open-mindedness. You need to be willing to accept something new and look at this, and then it sounds good compared to what?
Right.
See, that's the only way to get to the truth, is through comparison. Yeah, this sounds good compared to what? And that's where that needs to be broached right there. What is it compared to? Because I'm a believer, okay? And if it doesn't line up with the word, I'm not with it, okay? I'm just not with it. So, but that's what needs to happen. And when I sit down with people, they are thoroughly educated with whatever product that they have.
So, Robb, did people's lack of knowing what question to ask and just general not knowing anything prompt you to write a book?
Well, it wasn't so much as them not knowing the right questions to ask as it was me walking into situations where people think that they know, but they really don't know. And so my wife, she was very instrumental in getting me to write this book, because she's like, you are so full of so much stuff and you just can't tell everybody everything all at once. So you need to write a book. And initially it was about 400 pages.
Wow.
And so I had to trim it way down. It's 112 pages, a nice, easy read. And it raises a lot of questions in a person's mind. I also have about 14 questions that a person should ask.
Well, and that brings me to the whole idea of not knowing what questions to ask. What would be the first question I should ask?
Well, the first question that usually gets asked is, how much does it cost? Which is a great question, but it's the wrong first question.
Okay.
The first question should be, when does it start?
The policy.
Yes.
Why?
When does it start? Because there's what is known as a contestability period with all insurance companies, and it was put in place to protect the insurance companies from someone knowing that they're getting ready to leave this fine establishment and taking out a policy, and then 6 weeks later they're gone, and the insurance company has to pay out. So they put in this 2-year contestability period where an insurance company can contest the viability of the information that was received. Because say a person had a couple of stents, but they didn't divulge that, and then they die from a heart-related illness, then that's where the insurance company can go back and say, well, he didn't say that he had this malady, and so they can deny the claim, which they would deny the claim, but then they would return all the premium that was paid in. Okay.
Okay.
Some companies offer 10% and all this kind of good stuff along with that, but that's basically why that's there, like that.
Okay, so that might be the first question. What's the best piece of advice you would offer, the number one piece of advice you would offer people right now who are listening to this program and thinking, I don't know what I don't know, and this guy sounds like he does have a few things going on?
Well, my advice is start now. Start today.
Okay.
Start today. You begin, make sure that you've got your insurance policies in force and that they're the right types of policies. There is no good or no bad. It's all about what's going to meet your needs, okay? Whole life, term, universal life, whatever the case may be, there is no good or no bad. It's just you got to make sure that it's going to meet your needs, okay? I digress a little bit.
Sure.
The IUL, Indexed Universal Life Insurance policies, they're great policies. However, you need to know the moving parts in them, okay? You need to know the moving parts in them. So if somebody approaches you with an IUL and it looks good and it smells good and all that kind of good stuff, you want to find out what are the moving parts, okay? Because they're sold based on projections. And I call projections smoke and mirrors, okay? We want to get down to what's guaranteed. That's why my tagline is guaranteed solutions for today and beyond. Because everything that I'm going to tell you and the companies that I represent, they're all A-rated companies and all that kind of good stuff, but we get guarantees in paper and you will know them by sitting down and talking with me.
Well, that's awesome, because I think, as you said, I think insurance is necessary, and I think it's a good thing. But it's on the consumer to understand it and to find the right person like you, Robb, to kind of help bring it all together. Being an independent, it just allows you to have a lot more warmth and connection.
Well, it does too, and now with the way that things are so impersonal, You know, everybody's doing everything online and all this kind of good stuff. And then when you want to get to customer service, it's like, press 1 after the beep. You know, press 2 or just leave your number. We'll call you back. And all this kind of stuff. When my clients, they've got my contact information. As long as the good Lord gives me strength, I'm there for them.
That's awesome. Well, Robb, thanks for stopping by and telling us all about what you do in your book and just bringing a really big, bright light to this industry. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I learned a lot, and I know my viewers have too.
Thank you.
If you are interested in learning more about R. Hill Enterprises, Inc., please visit their website.